Hey, I'm Micki.
And I'm Kat.
We are Cat and Mouse Astrology. Welcome to the full moon in Taurus. Taurus the bull.
Mm.
Taurus,
Taurus springtime. Love me a Taurus moon.
Taurus moon, it's an abundant moon typically and it's a moon of pleasure.
Right? Because we're in Scorpio season, right?
We're in
If it's the
Scorpio
first full
season.
moon, that means it's Scorpio season.
Scorpio season, it's reflecting though our values and perhaps our desires. So there's a big, heavy, signature of the Mars still opposite Pluto, but they're now off sign.
Oh, good.
So, from a traditional astrology perspective, that's this it's been severed as far as
Good.
power. The power's severed.
Right. Sweet.
So
And Pluto's in Aquarius now.
that's right.
We're
That's
coming up, will be, and then we'll stay
Pluto.
there for a very long time.
Yeah, Pluto's headed into Aquarius. It's not there yet.
Okay.
But
But soon, in like a matter of days.
shortly, very, very, very shortly. So we've been doing astrology for like 2 years, and the whole time it seems like Pluto's been on 29 degrees Capricorn. I mean, that's not true. It went into Aquarius a little bit, like to 1, 2 degrees last year.
And I don't remember what happened then, but I think it was the college campus protests.
And AI.
Oh.
Yeah. We're going to see a huge thing in technology increase, and
Surveillance state.
peaceful
Watch
technology.
out. Watch out for the surveillance state.
That's definitely already here. Yeah. That's real. That's real. That's absolutely real. For real, it's here.
Only gonna get worse.
I imagine there's a lot of YouTubers that have problems. Luckily, we don't talk about none of that shit. So
Yeah.
we don't have to worry about that. And I'm not going to start now because a lot of people do get shut down. The surveillance state has already been going on, but it's not going to get better. It's not going to get better. So we're just going to stick to our own little bit of mundane and mostly personal astrology and have fun with it, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's share the chart and see what it looks like.
I like the planets.
It's interesting, here's our moon. It's the opposition, of course, and it is a change moon, and we all know that. And to all of you who are feeling distraught over the change that just happened in the American election, and I am one of you, I know that some of you aren't. Some of you are like, hey, we got something new. 50%,
Some of
obviously.
us knew it was gonna suck no matter what.
I think about 50% of people may be going like, we want something new. We're all about this change. And 50% of us are all like, well, that's
No, 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 not 50%. You gotta like don't forget the people who don't show up because it's not worth it to them.
yeah, yeah, but they make a decision. It's like, if you choose or if you don't choose, when you don't choose, that's still a decision.
Yeah.
So in my mind, to those 50% of the people who feel like me and are disappointed, I want to offer the astrological equivalent of is gonna be okay.
And it's gonna be okay. Of course it's gonna be okay. That's what I'm saying. And you're not 50%. I just want like both Republicans and Democrats are like, no, we're half. No, we're half, and you're half. And we're like, well, hey, what about us over here?
I'm not talking Republican Democrats. I'm talking about those people who did not want to see fascism happen, and a many
Who wants
majority
to
of
see that?
them, a majority of them were Republicans. So I'm talking to the 50% of people that didn't want to see Trump elected in the United States.
Oh, I think
Yeah.
that's saying that's more than 50%. That's
Okay.
way more than 50%. Everyone who didn't vote for him didn't want to see him elected. So what was that, like
Well, they didn't want
80 million people?
they didn't want it bad enough, and they didn't vote for their own rights. But in any case, the astrology has said all along.
Just saying the percentages are off. That's what it said.
Yeah. The astrology has said all along that we've got a major hard time coming in 25 and 26. 24 was no cakewalk. So between now and 26, there's going to be a lot of work to do. So for those that really want to see change, I hope
Yeah.
that what we come into now will be motivation because
Good.
The those who are in the red have everything. They have all the power. They got the House, they got the Senate, they got the all of the, three branches of government now behind them. So what they do is on them. And if they don't do good, then their results will speak for them. And
Yeah.
then we can make our decisions here in the next 2 years at the next election. And that's when the astrology shows that we also have a major change. So what I'm looking at is the change. This was a moon of
Yeah.
change.
Yeah. I'm hoping it's an Aquarius moon of change and the people get more invested in things.
Yeah, that's what we
Take
need.
that power away from that 29 degrees
Yeah, if we'd had people invest,
Capricorn.
it'd be different, eh? So would you read this is a if I go 1 degree farther, check this out, 1 minute. One
Okay, wait a minute.
I go 1 minute, the sun's at 24 degrees. 1 minute. So
Okay.
yeah, so I'd like you to read 24 degrees of Scorpio and 24 degrees of Taurus
Okay.
because this is 24 degrees, even though it's 23. Maybe read both, but I think we're into the next because it's a Sabian symbol. We want to go forward a
Yeah.
minute, right?
Yeah, you usually want to go forward. 24 degrees. An X-ray photograph.
Interesting. Scorpio,
Yep.
24. What's 23, just out of curiosity?
23. Crowds coming down the mountain to listen to one inspired man.
Well, moving from 23 to an X-ray photograph, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That inspired man is now going to be under some X-ray. Okay. What's Taurus 23, 24?
Cackle, cackle. Hmm. A jewelry shop filled with the most magnificent jewels. Oh, wait, sorry. That's the wrong one. An Indian warrior riding fiercely, human scalps hanging at his belt.
Read one more time.
An Indian warrior riding fiercely, human scalps hanging at his belt.
That's 23 degrees.
The spoils of war. Yes. 23, 24.
Okay, what's 24?
A large, well-kept public park.
Interesting. So the spoils of war. So we steal that Indian land and turn it into a public park?
Well, yeah, that's the truth, ain't it? Have we ever not been fascist? That's my real question. Has this country ever not been fascist?
Yes, but let's not go there. What's
Been.
25 degrees Uranus? What's 25 Uranus?
A Spaniard serenading his senorita.
Ooh, in-
Love and art. That's
interesting.
all that really matters, isn't it?
That's where my salvation is in art and love.
That's Taurus. That's a Taurus moon.
Hmm.
Like right there at where Uranus is at 25. Serenading your love.
That's sweet. So we've got as we've just broken free from the Pluto Mars. Here's the Pluto Mars opposition. So that's we're beyond that now. We do not have Pluto yet in Aquarius. This is its
It's
final gasp.
it's coming.
So on one level, I have to say I don't make predictions because I do not believe that astrology is predictive because we have free will. Anybody at any moment can change their mind
Right.
because we have free will. We're human beings with consciousness. These things just provide influence like the weather, you
Well,
know.
yeah, but we're not in control of everything. There
Right.
are things impacting us, whether we have free will or not.
We can't stop the flood, but
Right.
we choose whether or not we learned how to swim earlier in life.
True.
You know, there's
And if we built our house in the floodplain,
and if we're going to just cry about it and hang on to a tree, or if we're going to let go and swim out to the middle, which is what we're supposed to do right now.
go with the current.
Right.
Go with the current. I saw an astrologer talking about how Pluto moving into Aquarius for the next 19 years. And the last time Pluto was in Aquarius for that long was the American Revolution and the French Revolution and the Haitian Revolution. and probably others too.
Yeah. I mean, we're looking at a very, and if you look at it personally, I put in the thing below Pluto through the generations, and I looked back at my own life since 2008.
Mm,
Pluto for me it's been in everybody's Capricorn area.
mm-hmm.
For me, Capricorn is my fourth house. So my house was transformed
Oh, fuck. Yes. Okay.
and completely transformed.
Yes. So was mine.
Yeah. And that transformation was not just physical because it was an emotional transformation. Anybody who does, reconstruction in your house for a lot of years knows that it does stuff to your head too and your relationships. So, and of course, it's more than just home physically. Uh, Capricorn in the fourth house represents, ancestral. Uh,
Mm,
and my sister and I have been working a lot over the last, since 2008 on genealogy for our family. I published a book on my family's genealogy in 2014.
mm-hmm.
So for me, when I look at Pluto's last, going through Capricorn, it is obvious how it changed and transformed my life. And so I
Mm.
challenge everybody out there to take a look at what house is Capricorn?
I
What,
want to write that down.
yeah, what completely transformed in your life related to that house? I mean, so for you, Kat, that'd be your Cancer house.
No,
Oh,
it's my 10th house.
oh, I
It's
mean,
my
your 10th house.
work,
Yeah, your 10th house.
public life. Yeah.
Yeah, your
Which has completely transformed, but also in a strange way, like gone back to where it was
teaching.
teaching. Capricorn was like my decade to not teach, which isn't entirely true. No, it's mostly true. If we're talking a decade, are we talking a decade? Or since 2008?
Since 2008.
Oh, wow. That's when my last child was born.
Yeah, so there's the transformation between being I don't know, somebody who's in the mothering thing, maybe, and somebody who's in the professional. Oh,
Mhm.
I don't know. You'd
Yeah.
have but in any case, take a look at that. Take a look below at where where Pluto is leaving. Now it's entering Aquarius. What house is that for you? Aquarius is a completely different flavor. So one thing I'll point out that's, I think, really an interesting part about looking at the zodiac signs as you go around the wheel. If
Yeah.
we think about what is Capricorn, Aquarius is almost an opposite
It
from,
is quite different. Yeah.
yeah. And Sagittarius is almost an opposite from Scorpio. And Scorpio almost an opposite from Libra. So let me give an example. Libra is all about balance. It's
Hmm.
all about the scales, it's all about relationship. Whereas Scorpio, when you go into Scorpio, you're like, not relationship, me, baby, and we're looking deep,
Mm.
right? And this is much more self-focused.
Hmm.
And then when we go into Sagittarius, we're going out, away. We're moving into a higher realm, higher learning, higher, religion, those sorts of things.
It's still pretty internal.
Yeah, but there's
Yeah.
almost an opposition. The Capricorn gets us more external because this is the arrow. Sagittarius,
Yeah.
we aim the arrow out to our dreams and our desires. And, you could say, well, Capricorn's taking it up the mountain, but Capricorn is also where we save the money, where we hoard the dragon in the cave with our riches. And so each of these meanings of each of these have a very different flavor, is what I'm saying. And Aquarius is very different from Capricorn.
Hmm.
The technology, the fact that this is an air sign and this is an earth sign. So we're moving from, hundreds of years in earth to now 200 years in air.
Mm.
And this overall air change that we're beginning to feel is going to be reflected, I believe, in not just technology, but in psychic stuff. I'm into
Yeah.
consciousness. It's going to be in how we think about consciousness. It's going to be in how we think about anything related to our thoughts and how those thoughts are transmitted.
Mm. Quick side note, second congressional hearing on extraterrestrials is tomorrow.
See, that's so Aquarian. Ooh, when does it? Let me look forward a little bit. I have to see when does Pluto actually move into.
I feel like it's like the 19th, so it might be a full week away.
Yeah, there it is. That's the 22nd, but I bet if I go back a little bit, it's we see it's not that far. See, it sits at 0 for a long time.
Uh,
Oh, that's heavy. There we go. But now we're back to the 18th next Monday. Um, so Monday, Tuesday is when it's going to go into
yeah.
Aquarius.
Okay.
So we're going to be feeling this for quite a long time to come. And let me move back to where we were, which is this day. Yeah. Is that where I was?
I don't know.
Close enough. Okay.
Enough.
Yeah. So what else do you see here that you think is interesting?
Black moon opposite Chiron, pretty closely. Um, is that a trine between the sun and Neptune? That's lovely. And a square between Mercury and Saturn and Jupiter. Oh, that's not super tight though.
Yeah, it's pretty
The
low,
Jupiter part.
at 16 degrees with Neptune and 23. Are
No,
you
27, 27.
or 27? Still 20, 27, 23, 4. All right, it's loose.
Yeah.
That's too loose there, but
Okay. So Mercury and Saturn's not too close of a square with 4 degrees apart either. Yeah, there's not much else going on besides the like, well, even everything's 4 degrees apart. Chiron and the Black Moon are 4 degrees apart.
right, we
Even fucking Mars and Pluto are 4 degrees apart.
yeah, this is a real splate.
Everything, wait a minute, everything's 4 degrees apart. And Venus is at 4 degrees Capricorn.
That's interesting, isn't it?
I'm going to read 4 degrees Capricorn. That's just bizarre.
Yeah, what is 4 degrees Capricorn? It's
Yeah.
453, so you might read 5 degrees for him.
Okay. Just weird. A group of people entering a large canoe for a journey by water.
Interesting. Yeah. What's 5?
Well, it would be 3 and 4, and then 4 and 5.
Huh?
Uh, 4 and 5 is Indians, some rowing a canoe and others dancing a war dance on it. Okay, so we've got two symbols of native peoples
Uh-huh.
engaged in battle
And water.
and water being their mode of transport. So you're right, go with the flow. You cannot stop the flood.
Right.
In the middle of it, dancing in community and preparing for battle.
That's probably really where it's at. I think you've just articulated it very, very well.
Dang, we got to mark the time on that so I can.
Okay. So I'm trying to look at like who is the depositor of this moon. This is a moon in Taurus, and Taurus is ruled by Venus. And we're just now talking about Venus, which is in a,
Yes.
it's in a, it doesn't really see Taurus from Capricorn. It's an inconjunct at that end.
Right.
Um, but you know, it's as a ruler of this moon, it's offering some opportunities for love and equanimity. Equanimity.
Venus is the ruler of this moon as the Taurus moon. Venus is the ruler of this moon, and Venus is like preparing for war in community, and that seems apt
It does. It does seem apt.
because Venus is about what you value.
So what are we talking about here? We're talking about that which we cannot name.
Shit, how did I not even see those sextiles? What the fuck?
So I don't know. I find that this is really interesting because Black Moon is here with the South Node, what we were supposed to get rid of, what we're supposed to let go, and we don't even know what that is. we don't know what we're supposed to let go of. So we're hanging on with our fingernails to something we're supposed to let go of.
Right.
Sextile, it's creating some ease with um what we are talking about as far as those things that are Sagittarian, those things that are higher ideals.
Libra, the black moon in Libra. After a storm, a boat landing stands in need of reconstruction.
Oh, baby. Ah, ain't that the truth?
Let's do reconstruction right this time.
That's what
As
we have to
a
tell them.
debatably fascist country with a history of prior attempts at reconstruction,
Oh, God, that's scary.
perhaps we can do a better job of it this time.
I don't think we're allowed to look at the previous times in our history. And if you can't look at the previous time in your history to see the mistakes, how can you fix them?
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, for those of us who are willing to actually still do history, that's probably a really important thing to see because you're right. That was a major failure.
It was a major failure.
Major failure.
Failure. Major, major failure.
Absolutely.
Riots, ethnic cleansing campaigns.
Backlash on a big ass scale that was
Yeah.
really, really horrendous. And
Horrendous.
this in a place where, people think that I'm going to use the word disseminated, that we've looked at this history and worked through it. No, we have
No,
not.
we've swept it under the rug.
It's in a collective memory, and that's why we're still here dealing with this because it's the shit that has to be cleaned out. It's bones in the closet. Bones in that closet that needs to be like, that shit's
You can't dress a wound if you won't look at it and
right.
clean it.
Exactly. It's turned to dust, and that dust is toxic.
Yeah. So,
So we've got another thing
look in
here that
canoe with your friends
we've got Jupiter and
and party it up.
exactly. Yeah. We got Jupiter in a tight,
War parties of mutual aid.
which one is that?
Venus,
Uh-huh. Right. I like that.
right?
So
Because and then
what's 19 degrees of Gemini?
19 Gemini. I just wanted to relook at Libra again. After a storm, a boat landing stands in need of reconstruction. So get in your canoe with your friends and do the mutual aid and reconstruct the boat landing.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. All right, Taurus.
And take a look at what made the boat landing break. And that doesn't mean to throw the boat landing maker under the bridge. That means
Oh,
let's see what we can do to fix this and let's work together to do a better.
no, it means like we need to start naming hurricanes after fossil fuel companies. Because that's who's responsible for the devastation in Appalachia.
Ain't that the case? You know it's true.
And who's cleaning it up? The people in their canoes.
That's it. So what's 19 Gemini?
Taurus.
No, Gemini.
Oh, we're looking at Jupiter.
It's our other sextile.
Okay. 19 Gemini. Okay, two things. We have to do both of them, right?
Right.
1819, a large archaic volume reveals a traditional wisdom.
We need that.
We need that. And a cafeteria with an abundance of choices.
That's interesting. That's Jupiter, baby.
I mean, it takes all kinds.
It takes,
There's not one path forward.
and that's offering us healing at this point.
Like, there's so many different ways to do the reconstruction. No one's going to be able to do all of it. No one person's even going to be able to do one of it, right? It's going to take everybody doing all kinds of different things.
So here we have, almost a magic triangle. I talked about last time when you weren't here, Kat, I talked about the magic triangle.
What's that?
It's a magic triangle,
Okay.
like a trine. It's no longer here. You can see it losing its form.
Oh, okay.
It's has an opposition and then it has two sextiles and two trines.
Interesting. It
So
looks like an hourglass, is what it looks like.
Yeah, because we're off of it now, so we no longer have it quite right, but we're just now moving off of this. And what's I think important here is we have two really strong sextiles being anchored by this moon. And one sextile is talking about something that, as you pointed out, is where we're going to do the
Yeah.
restructuring. And we don't really know yet what we have to do, but we have to let go of something.
And we have to be able, we have to imagine something new.
Yes, because that's
Some of that might be the letting go. We might need to let go of the stories you're used to and be open to imagining new stories that you've never thought of before.
and staying in the higher self, keeping
Always.
the language at least in the higher self.
Yeah.
And then the other sextile we have is the Chiron Jupiter sextile.
Okay, what's Chiron? It's
Yeah, what is
Jupiter.
19 or 20 Chiron?
Jupiter is an abundance of choices with traditional wisdom. And what's that number? I can't read that.
It's 19 and 20
19 and 20. A young girl feeding birds in winter,
in here.
and a boxer entering the ring,
Yeah, I think we're moving from the young girl feeding birds in winter to the boxer.
right? Agreed.
Yeah.
Finally, about time.
So we're going to have some energy going on, and that is, as you said, loosely opposite this black moon.
Hmm.
What brings it into this magic rectangle formation? But again, we're losing it. It's losing its formation, but it was a pretty tight magic rectangle
Yeah,
before.
that's really interesting.
Yeah. So again, it shows the tension and the way forward. And the way forward, as you pointed out, is our, pulling it together and reconstructing and focusing on the healing and where all the options lay.
Yeah,
So I think that's really, what else
awesome.
jumped out at you before we've had a long, long time of retrograde Saturn, and it is just about to go forward.
How long has it been retrograding? Do you know offhand?
It's
Because,
freaking June.
oh my God. Okay.
Ever
That
since the end of June, it's like, oh, I'm slugging through the mud, and every step feels like I just took 3 steps back.
every step is so hard. I'm like literally, you all, like I haven't been here for a couple weeks, few weeks. I don't even know. Like hour by hour. My life is hour by hour at this point.
Well, Saturn is going to go forward at 13 degrees here. I mean, it's moving forward at 13 degrees. It reaches its station point retrograde. So it's just about to reach 13 degrees.
13 degrees of Pisces.
Right.
I'm
So
gonna
right now we're at 12. I'm going to go forward a couple days while you read it.
okay.
It's very slow, especially when it stations. It could take it a week or more to get to 13.
What number should I look at?
Look at 12 Pisces first.
An examination of initiates in the sanctuary of an occult brotherhood.
Here we are, baby.
Sounds about right.
Oh, look how long we're here. We're here,
Who would like to be in my cabinet? Sycophants? It's definitely only brothers.
or is it my sycophants in a knot or is it my underpants in a knot? I don't know. This is till December 4th. It's
Mm.
12 degrees until December 4th. Would you read that again, please?
An examination of initiates in the sanctuary of an occult brotherhood, or a sword used in many battles in a museum.
Is that 13?
Yeah.
A sword used in many battles in a museum?
Uh-huh.
Huh. So it's time to get out the old knowledge to fight with.
The old knowledge. Go fight with the old knowledge. Because we've been here before. There's like no point in human history where we haven't had to deal with tyrants and despots.
That
And all empires fall preceded by tyrants and despots.
Ain't it the truth? Ain't it?
Yeah, there's lots of wisdom. There's like Get Out Your People's History of the United States by Howard Zinn and research any empire collapses that you can. And I did hear from a friend who's from South America that there's like in the history of like different civilizations throughout the Americas, pre-colonization, there's these time periods where people just like abandon their civilizations. And it's like, what's going on? And the thought is that it's related to the astrology, that there's something that they would see something in the astrology that was like, time to move on and not do this anymore.
Yeah,
Reconstruction.
I think that's really relevant. I've been studying astrological remediation with Andrea Gertz. She's really interesting. Check her out. And
Okay.
um, she offers weekly classes on this. And what that's doing is taking a look at like, okay, I've got this heavy, thing I was born with. What can I do to have it work for me in my life? And one,
Right.
also Austin Coppock gets into this topic a little bit, well, quite a lot, remediation as and astrological magic. So, if you know you've got something that's coming up, I'll use the real world example that's going to happen for all of us. Saturn is going to connect with Neptune.
Right. We've talked about this a lot.
Yeah, the closer it gets to that, it's going to um we have a place where the structure is going to dissolve. And it's in our Pisces house. This is a watery house. So the power is with the dissolver. Neptune is the higher power. Neptune rules Pisces. Saturn, when it reaches Neptune, it's going to be the structure that dissolves. So, what's going on for you personally that's going to be reaching a place of disillusionment? And keep in mind, disillusionment is a psychological thing, not necessarily a physical thing. And disillusionment isn't necessarily a bad thing. It means you're no longer deluded,
Right.
right? That means you now see clearly. So there's a paradox in this, right?
Yes. I'm kind of blown away by this like disillusion, dissolution, and disillusion
So
are
no
like
longer you
blowing my mind, like these
no
two
longer
words,
deluded. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Ooh, I want to play with those words. Yeah.
right?
That's very fascinating, isn't it?
Solution and dissolution.
Huh? And
Fascinating.
so watery, it's like, you put everything dissolves in water.
That's me being a reading teacher,
Uh-huh. Yeah, you need a linguist.
right? Exactly.
So what's going to dissolve in your life in this Pisces area? What's going to be washed away? And for maybe a very higher purpose because now
Yeah.
they're both moving towards the North Node. This is all going to come together. Come together right now. Sorry, I'm not supposed to sing it. Bad for everybody in all kinds of ways, so just forget that. In any case, as we see Saturn approach Neptune, when they connect, and we've talked about this before, it's actually going to be in early Aries, and we're going to have it having just been impacted by the North Node. So this direction we're all moving in, and this is a big deal that we can.
Will the North Node still be there? Or it'll be moving backwards because it
The
moves
North
backwards.
Node is moving into Pisces Virgo axis, so it's crossing. They're
Okay.
crossing.
They'll crop each other.
One,
Right.
I'll just play with this. I don't know when it actually crosses. Is it 6 months? Let's see.
How long before Saturn goes forward again?
Yeah, see, look at here. It's at 20. It passes them within 6 months.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Saturn
Dang.
doesn't reach 29 degrees until 6 months.
Okay.
So Saturn goes forward at 13 degrees. It should already be forward.
For the spring.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, no, it says
Aren't full moons supposed to be like
direct,
6 month things
it's
too?
direct now. I'm sorry?
Aren't full moons supposed to be like 6 month imprints as well? Like
Yes.
the
Yeah,
sixth will come back up at the Taurus
that's
sun, Taurus season.
that's right. Exactly. So until the new moon in Taurus.
New moon in Taurus.
That's right. Which is be in the spring. So this is a long term, and the fact that this is building towards a healing with, we're going to see next year this um, grouping of planets, stellium of planets in Aries with Neptune, Saturn, and the healer
Sweet.
together.
That's
So,
my
and
first house.
yeah, the North Node will be beyond that, but that's I think going to be where we're starting to see where this change will be coming to fruition that we'll be able to see. It may not actually reach fruition until the end of 2026.
Okay, I mean, things take time. Shit takes time.
It takes time. It takes time. So don't freak and don't freeze.
Don't freeze. Flow in your canoe with your friends.
All you can do with your friends.
You got to be with your friends, though. Don't forget that part.
Don't forget that friends. Do it for us. Did you read Pisces or sorry, Neptune at 27? Do 27,
No.
28 Pisces just for
7:28 degrees.
S&G.
Neptune. A fertile garden under the full moon.
Yeah.
And light breaking into many colors as it passes through a prism. That's
Nice.
a full garden and a rainbow.
This is where we're headed. So keep that in mind and remember there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is light at the end of the tunnel. There is. So, anyway, it's a big moon. It's a full moon.
So excited.
And it might be a good time to go do those Taurian things. For me, that's, is there a fuzzy blanket that feels really good? The fuzzy slippers, the warm cup of cocoa.
Cup
Tori,
of cocoa by the fire with your friends.
yeah, yeah. Do the Taurian things. What makes you feel good, baby?
So
Do
good.
do what makes you feel good.
Luscious and nourished.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and share it with others.
Share it
Eat
with others.
chocolate. Go eat some chocolate. I'm gonna go eat some chocolate.
Everything's better with friends.
Everything's better with friends. All right. Cheers. Peace. See you at the next moon. Bye.
Bye.